AITA for not telling my fiancé I used to work as an escort. I 35F just got engaged. I have been with him for 2 years and he is amazing and think he'd be a great father to my children. There is however a secret I have not revealed. About 3 years ago before I met him I briefly worked as an escort. It was not long, about 4 months, and I do not have some sob story about how I felt abused and exploited because frankly I did not. Like any job, it had its good and bad parts. I do not have some dramatic story about escaping it. I stopped simply because I did not want to do it anymore. I did not require therapy or rehab. I just moved on and got a normal job. I have been regularly tested and have no STIs, nor so I have any emotional scars from it. So I told myself it is now no one else's business because it would not impact any other relationships. However, it feels wrong I cannot share this. He once asked how many sexual partners I had and I simply said a lot and told him technically the truth that I was prolific at one point in my life but no longer am and do not intend to do so. I am still scared to potentially ruin a great thing if I reveal it, but I am also not looking forward to keeping this a secret for life. AITA for keeping it secret. Nah, this is one of those things you wouldn't bring up on a first date, and when things go well after that, you can easily miss the right moment to bring them up. I am going with an AH here and not with YTA because you are clearly aware of the situation and not trying to get away with keeping it a secret. You should tell him now, though. I am often torn about secrets like this and I do not think every secret needs to be confessed. What you did years ago shouldn't have an impact on your present relationship. Being an escort is nothing bad, but people can be weird about it. But this is a secret that will likely do serious harm if it comes out by accident or at a later time. Maybe take a soft approach like, remember when I said I had sex with a lot of people, some of them gave me money for it. Something like that. Fingers crossed. There was a guy on here a week or two ago who found out his wife was an escort at some point and thought it made her damaged and a bunch of other nonsense and he was ready to leave her. You had be better off telling him now and not 15 years from now he finds out and takes it really badly. Technically, this 100%. I am a sex worker. I would not dream of hiding that from anyone. I would not want to be with anyone who was not cool with it anyway. Technically, if this is a deal breaker for him, he deserves to know and make a call himself. I completely agree with your point that no one should want to be with someone who makes them feel ashamed of their past unless their past was like kicking puppies or whatever. I also want to add on, it is possible that what is the deal breaker might not be the secret itself, but the length of time. I totally get not disclosing on the first date, but I think that if I were with someone for 2 years, we had conversations about our sexual histories, we had been ready to get married, and then I found out that they used to do sex work, I might be upset more at the amount of time they hid that from me than at the fact itself. For me, personally, honesty is a big part of any relationship, and I still consider a lie of omission a lie. So this would be hard for me to move past, not be the secret itself, but the length of time. This is what would be the problem for me. It would make me wonder if there was anything else they were hiding, or if there was more to the story, etc. If you honestly believe that knowing this about you would cause him to end the relationship, then you are marrying him under false pretenses. The element of fraud in that makes you the asshole. If you want to also consider whether him dropping you over it makes him an asshole too, I would have to say no, having sex for money is rather more extreme than simply having an active sex life, and being unable to get past it is, while not saintly of him, at least understandable. It's also no way to live. Waiting for the other shoe to drop. Agreed. Great response. Because you are hiding something. I do not think there is anything wrong with being an escort, but let us be honest, there is a huge stigma around it. I get why you have not told him, but it is something akin to not telling him you were married before. It is still a lie. Much better to say it before you are married, and not make it seem like you were intentionally withholding it until it was too late. Personally, I find escorts to be a deal breaker, but for their perspective maybe they want an active sex life but not ready to commit. Might as well get paid for it. You are not telling him because you know he is going to leave you. I highly doubt he would. I am just embarrassed. And it does against what people see me today as. I dress modestly, I am pretty conservative in my personal behavior now, and I regularly attend church and volunteer in the kids program. I am not like what you had expect at all. This might be controversial, but hear me out. He has a right to know. It is true that your past is your past and it does not define you or your future. But this is your lifelong partner we are talking about. If he finds out, and chances are he will one way or another, he will understandably feel upset. Way more upset than if you came clean to him early on or even now. He needs to have all the facts before he makes a decision to marry you, and that is not because sex work is degradable or anything else. It is something that not everyone will be okay with, and he needs to know. To him, but also to yourself. If your fiancé would not marry you because you used to be an escort, you have a fundamental incompatibility and he is clearly not the person for you. And if he starts judging you or verbally abusing you because of that, well, you know where he stands. Better find out now than 5-10 years down the line. Not to mention that if they end up splitting now, it is more along the lines of a breakup, and they are young and have plenty of time to find someone else. If they split years from now, the divorce would be an ugly process, especially if there is kids involved. For leaving him in the dark. I get that sex work is stigmatized in many countries and societies, but this secret hurts you both. You'll have to live with this secret every day while hoping he doesn't find out, react poorly and leave you. He is being denied the opportunity to make an informed decision and may get blindsided one day, maybe even by a former customer who recognizes you at a company party or a family reunion. Do you really want to put both of you through this without any warning? This is a scenario I was thinking if OP keeps her fiancé in the dark. Even if a former customer at a company party doesn't tell OP's fiancé directly, there will be gossip at the office, and OP's fiancé will find out this way. Sex work can be a deal breaker. Former SW here. Although I completely understand not wanting to say anything, I believe this is something that should be talked about in the beginning. Everyone should be with someone who will not judge you for what you chose to do as a consenting adult. I personally think that someone's sexual past is not their partner's business, whether they were an escort or not. If that is something that both parties were happy to talk about, then that's fantastic. But it's also a topic where I think the phrase ignorance is bliss may apply, unless one party has something like a lifelong STD or severe trauma that needs to be discussed. The problem here is that sex work is still heavily stigmatized. There are still many misconceptions. Not all women are trafficked, folks. Many people consider sex work to be a deal breaker. If this is something you know your partner didn't like, imagine how much he'll lose it once he finds out you did it but also lied to him about it. I have to say a gentle tab because you were honest about how many partners you had. You just didn't tell him in what context. Not that you re-obligated to, but some people feel entitled to that information. If you ever need to talk, please feel free to message me. I understand the struggle. Added a missing word. Think after personally. Update AITA for not telling my fiancé I used to work as an escort. So I thought of what everyone said and considered both sides. I decided that I did not want this hanging over my head in our marriage. So it was tough. But shortly afterwards one night I had a few glasses of wine and told him I had something I needed to talk about. I had considered seducing him, having sex and then telling him so I could at least do it one last time, but decided that would be manipulative and dishonest. So I sat down and told him when I said I had a lot of sexual partners it was over a stint of about 4 months as an escort. He was taken back a bit and said that is not something I did expect. I figured no one would. I dress modestly. I am pretty conservative with drinking and I volunteer with the kids programs at my church. I had tears in my eyes and asked him if his opinion of me had changed. He said, well, what you did not stop you from being the woman I fell in love with, so why should it? I started crying more, tears of joy. I begged him to let me know if he had any apprehensions or questions or if it had come between us in any way. He said he might have questions about any cool or sexy story sometime, but for now. He even made a quip about no wonder you blow my mind in having sex. You were a professional. Not really the type of joke I did normally appreciate, but in that time it was perfect. and we ended up going to the bedroom not too much later. So now I feel like a huge weight has been lifted and I know just how much my fiancé loves me and what he is willing to tolerate in me. It is wonderful. We are both in lockdown basically now, both working from home, and I am so thankful to be able to be with a wonderful and amazing man who I love so much and who loves me so much. Thanks to everyone. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.